Okay. Hi guys. Hello. Welcome. So today is a really exciting video because I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my original characters. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So if you didn't know, I'm writing a novel. I'm actually writing quite a few novels. So these OCs actually aren't from the novel that I've been doing a lot of writing vlogs on. They're actually from like my original project, which has been the hugest project and the biggest sort of longest novel that I've ever like attempted to write. So I'm so excited to share with you guys all these amazing characters. But before we get on, I hope you guys maybe subscribe to my channel because it does help like so much, and it just means the world to me for you guys watching this and my new embarkment, is that a word? My new journey on this booktube, writertube sort of channels. Anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the awesome OCs. But to start off, I have my awesome document which I have all my plans for. So I have it on the screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. But of course this project is called The Lost City of Zeal. I don't even know how that title came about, but it just was there in my mind. So yeah. And we can go down to the table of contents. So here I have literally all of my world building, my overview, my maps, my character building, and I put them all in like little titles so I can easily click on character building. So let's go ahead and look at that. So first up, we're gonna meet Dell. I love Dell with all my heart. She is the main character. This is what she looks like, but I guess this is going to be like a really spoiler-like video because this kind of is information that you wouldn't see if you were reading my novel. But Dell, she is actually a demigod. But in this world, there is a god called Zeal, and that god had actually died. So as soon as one god dies, that's when two are born separately, and when the two are born and then one dies, that splits off into two again. So it's this kind of like ongoing cycle sort of thing. So she's a descendant of Zeal, and she has powers also, which is like so cool. She can open and close worlds with Avon, and Avon is another character, which is the second main character, which you guys will see in a minute. She can also split and mend, which is cutting through matter and pinching it together. It is kind of really hard to talk about since, like, you know, this stuff kind of is all in my brain and it's hard to like physically talk about it, I guess. But she actually doesn't know she's a demigod or that she's connected to Avon in any way, so that's to be revealed in the future. She's also almost like Katniss. She is obsessed with the bow and arrow. She used to always go hunting with her dad, who used to always teach her different like hunting skills, and that's where she gets a lot of her bow and arrow and also dagger skills from. Her personality, she's a passionate and determined girl who fastens her life on logic and never doubts her instincts. So she's also very blunt and she's very stubborn. She's also very soft-hearted to her friends, in which this book is also very much found family. So as she starts to meet the other characters, she becomes extremely attached to them, especially Avon, and that's when some romance comes along. And I think a really important thing is when you're developing characters, you give them strengths but also probably more weaknesses. I'm still kind of exploring that as I'm writing the story. So her weaknesses and fears and phobias include like her own passion and emotion. She's kind of almost scared of herself and how she can rationally just act without thinking. As I said, she's very driven on instinct. So that's kind of Dell, basically. She is awesome. I love her. She was the first character I ever thought of. And yeah, that's Dell. Alrighty, moving on, we have Avon. I love Avon. He is also a demigod, but that actually isn't revealed until like later into the actual book, like literally in the last chapter. So, spoiler. I'm so sorry. So this is kind of what he looks like. He has similar powers to Dell again, but he's a really good fighter. He fights with two swords, which is like really cool, and he's very quick in reacting to things, and he's just very agile. He can jump really high, like really high. And his personality, so Avon is mysterious and he's quite cold. And he has a bit of smile. He lives for justice, so he's also a very big driver for justice and the aid of long lost orphans in the war. So Avon is basically the leader to this group of orphans. I should probably like have told you guys about this, but Avon is the leader to these group of orphans who help other orphans and children of war, because during this book there's a big war going on throughout worlds. I don't want to get into too much detail about the world building, so that's why I'm focusing on characters for the moment. But if you want a video about my world building, which is literally so complex, I cannot talk about it like physically. I need to like write it down to like help me describe it because it's just so big. But apart from that, Avon is also very composed. He holds his temper like it's scary. His weaknesses. So he's very blunt. Kind of like me. Like whenever someone comes to him, he's just like very straight to the point. One phobia that he has, which is really interesting, he doesn't like to look at himself. He doesn't like looking in mirrors. And he really hates sand. He hates dirt and sand and like dust and things like getting in, and like I don't know, he's just like a ugh. Yeah, that's him. So say hello to Avon. Alrighty, next up, the third main character is Steelen. I love Steelen so much. He kind of now reminds me of Simon from the Mortal Instruments, but he isn't human or a vampire or a shadow hunter. Sorry if I spoiled anything. So he is actually a son of a god. They can have one kid basically. So he was actually the son of Zeal's brother. So there's two gods. One of them is Zeal. One of them is called Anrican? Yeah, Anrican, sorry. That's his father. This is really confusing. I'm so sorry. Let's just focus on the characters. He also has the power to teleport and communicate with his father. So that's kind of just like godly powers. Teleportation is a very important thing in this novel. So he's very reckless, but he's also extremely timid and scared. He's extremely scared of his father. So basically Anrican is the bad guy. Steelen has a passion for love. So Steelen's actually in love with Dell. So he's always wanted to be free from his ties of his father, and he's always wanted to just save Dell. His weaknesses, he gives in to mercy a lot, and he's also driven by fear. He has a lot of fear within his life. Alrighty, so now we have Jen. He's kind of a side character. So I have to do a little bit of background just so you understand, but there's different basically realms. And Jen comes from the Archangel realm, and obviously he's an Archangel, he's an angel, he has wings. He also has the ability to control and summon light, so that's really cool. His personality, what we're here for, he's the most gentle and kind person. I don't know if you guys can tell, but he is heavily inspired by my favorite character, which is Jem Carstairs. Jem is my love for life. So he's very also protective of his sister, and his sister is Alcine, and I'll get into her a little bit later. He loves her unconditionally and is almost always with his sister. Some of his fears and weaknesses include like losing his sister, facing his father, which is the king of the kingdom that he's from, and also letting down his deceased mother. So this is kind of what is cool. I'll get into it. It kind of is like a good segue. Alcine, this is Alcine, say hi. She is a werewolf. I couldn't really put her ears on, so this is kind of what she looks like, but just imagine her with grey ears. So she's half archangel, half wolf. Her mum actually, something bad happened to her, and that's when she ended up having Alcine. So she's a bi-archangel slash werewolf, but she does have full black wings, which are like so cool. She is obsessed with axes. She just loves axes. She usually has like two strapped to her back. Her personality, she's extremely like naturally cocky. She loses her temper a lot. She has a big ego to cover her insecurity of being a bastard. So a lot of people look down on her for being like a mixed, and that's like where discriminatory stuff comes in. Her weaknesses, she loses temper a lot. She is very hard to manage and is moody and meek most of the time. And her phobias is romance. She's very arrow basically, and she doesn't like being touched as well. So yeah, say hello to Alcine. Alrighty, now we have Puck. I love Puck with all of my heart. He is so cool. He's a pixie. So he's from the pixie realm, and this is what he looks like. So Puck is extremely obsessed with science. He loves blowing things up. He loves mixing things together, and he is very good at, you know, logic and science basically. And also being a pixie that he is, he's extremely mischievous. He's obsessed with pulling pranks on his friends and on the group, and he's just like proud of that. It's really funny, and he believes that no one can outsmart him, so he's very confident in that aspect. However, Puck is extremely loyal to Avon, so he's very much a prankster, but when it comes to Avon, he's like stock straight and like hands up and like you know, sort of like that. His weaknesses, he gets under people's skin, he talks too much, he's a troublemaker. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, that's the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed kind of meeting my characters. I definitely know I was extremely confusing. Look, the thing is I know how bad I am at explaining things, and it's hard because I don't want to give too much away since I don't want to spoil anything, but I did my best today and I hope that's okay. And also I want to know about your OCs and how they are and what they're doing and how you came up with them in the first place. And thank you so much for your support, for everyone who's watching this video. I know it might only get like 10 views or something like that, but you know what? It was fun. But you can subscribe if you want. Again, it literally means the world. But anyways, I love you guys with all of my heart and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!
Your honey water wine, you make me warm inside.